morning, guys. You tripped over the Tagman channel by some algorithmic glitch in the universe. Anyway, today we're working on the Junkyard Caddy. And I call it a Junkyard Caddy because I dragged it out of a junkyard. But she runs, drives, pretty exciting little car. Little. Actually, it's the size of the Queen Mary. But anyway, I have got to do a little bit of putty sculpting. Now, I welded in a panel back here, as you might see on previous videos if you watched any of those. I wish I could tell you that I made the perfect panel and patched it, and when I welded it, everything's perfect. But no, I'm afraid that's not the case. We have to do a little bit of putty sculpture. We've got our chrome strip, and I'm going to stick it up on here, and we'll take a look and see how close I am. Now this may be a little hard to see on the film. I've kind of tried to sculpt this out and make a nice straight line. Let's see if I got lucky. Actually, not too bad. As I'm looking at this, I'm not seeing much gap there. It looks pretty even. Right here, it's a little bumpy and rough, so I got to smooth that out. But it looks like, for the most part, what I got to do is I got to put a mark here and then feather this back from that point, because that's where this chrome's going to sit. So I've kind of misjudged, and I've gone beyond where the chrome really wants to be. See? So basically this ridge here needs to be underneath the chrome. So that's what I'm going to work on now. I'm going to see if I can get that sculpted out and make it look right. At least good enough to when the chrome goes on and it's all painted, it looks really good. Well, I think what I'm going to have to do, get my chrome placed in position, and just so I know where I'm going to go to, put a pencil mark there. So I have an idea what I got to do. Yeah. I think that's going to work out nice. So hopefully this doesn't turn into a giant back and forth of grinding off and puttying again and fixing it. Hopefully I get it done in the first shot, but we'll see. I'm going to use my little flapper wheel grinder. It's going to take that putty down really quick. This area here has kind of it's a curve, it's a concave. So depending on the angle that I use this round disc, I kind of trying to get that same shape. All right, I'm hitting metal there already. So that's kind of a bummer, because I'm not back to where I want to be yet. No, I've got it roughed up pretty good. I mean, I got her shaped out fairly decent. You can see where my pencil mark is, so this might work out okay. It may look good once I get rid of that wavy line and all that squiggly stuff. Probably gonna take a little more putty, a little more work on it. See what it looks like. Oh, that's not bad actually. I think Johnny can live with that. So I just gotta square up that edge, which I'm probably gonna do with the other sander now, because this is a little too aggressive. Okay, so I ground that off some and I blew it off, and I'm getting that ready for another coat of body filler, just enough so that I know I have enough there when I go to sanding it down, it'll work. So I gotta do this side too, same kind of scenario. This is one where I made this patch, and then I saw this spot here was rusty enough to where I cut it out, made another patch. I've got it all welded in, so now I gotta grind this thing off, get it ready for body filler. I'm gonna use a Dynaglass on this, then we'll use some filler. But this one, I think I got the metal a little closer to where it really needs to be. So when I go ahead and put the chrome piece on, matter of fact, why don't we just try that? This is the edge that hopefully lines up with the chrome piece. Well, let's see how close I got. Kind of clunky. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some work here. If I want this to look good, there's going to be some fill. You can see there's a big gap there. I've actually got it so it's really quite wrong. This really should be this way more. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. There's going to be a gob of fill there. That's all there is to it. Okay, so I know I need a lot of fill, more than what's ever recommended. I couldn't buy the piece. Oh, actually, it's not going to be that bad. Oh, I just moved my chrome piece up into position and it's a lot better. Still going to be a ton of fill, but we can do it. Okay, I got that ground off pretty smooth. It really don't look bad. I mean, it's really quite smooth, not super smooth. That's gonna get filled. I mean, it's just gonna be some putty in there. Now, that's pretty darn rugged. So the steel is lending a lot of strength to it. On my welds, it's all in there. It's pretty strong. It's probably gonna have a little more putty than I'd like to get in there, but it's gonna be Dynaglass. That stuff's tough as heck. I see it last for 30 or 40 years on stuff, so I think we'll be good. Okay, I got that ground down. With that, got all the welds ground off nice. Now I'm gonna use this big flapper disc, clean it up some more. Wow, that really put some tooth in it. You could feel it when I grab. So that's gonna grab onto that putty like crazy. Sometimes I get out the old air grinder. We got the electric grinder too, which is easier. You don't have to run the compressor or anything. It's bigger and heavier. This is smaller. You can get into tighter spots. But the big difference is this. I turn this on. Let me plug it in. There's another thing. If it's not plugged in, it never works. I turn this one on. That's full blast. Actually, I think it's like 4,500 RPMs. If I put this one on, I can turn it down. I can turn it up. This thing will really go. But I can also control it slow. Turn the knob. Because what I want to do now is get in here and clean this edge off. And I don't want the thing going wild crazy when I'm doing it. Okay, I don't know if I'm calling this stuff Dynaglass half the time or Duraglass. What I'm using is Duraglass. It's Duraglass and USC. I don't know. I got a bunch of it on Auto Body Tool Mart and it was cheap as far as this stuff goes. It also comes with the hardener. I'm gonna mix up a batch and smear it on that lower body panel, that front fender dog leg. I'm gonna need more than that. So that looks to me like about 4 golf balls worth. So I'm gonna put 6 inches worth of goo on it. And then I'm gonna blend it in and see what happens. I do a lot of seeing what happens, don't I? I gotta feed it up in the bottom. Looks like I'm using this up, but you know what? I've been using it for both putties. That looks like about 6 inches, I think. I used to use a mix stick to mix this stuff, but I don't know, when I'm watching YouTube and I see the real guys do it, they're always using their spreaders to mix it. And it seems to work pretty good. I think you get less air bubbles. Because when I use a mix stick, I'd whip it around and I think it was giving me more air bubbles. Then you got to make sure you scrape it off the edge. So you get all the hardener. I got hardener on my thumb. I got to get rid of that. I got to hurry up too, because you know what? This stuff does not allow you to work with it forever. You got about 4 or 5 minutes, depending on temperature. And if you ever did it in the sunshine, forget it. It hardens like within, I don't know, if you're really fast, you can get it on there. But other than that, I'd say it would harden in a minute instead of 5 minutes. So this looks to me like I got it pretty smeared out. Maybe I could have put a little more hardener in it, but you know what? You don't want to get too hot, too fast, where it crystallizes and becomes brittle. All right. Let's see how I do. Hey. Well, there goes $2 worth. On the floor. Caught that one. I gotta be careful about that bottom edge. That looks pretty good. That needs more. That definitely needs more. Sometimes you got to get it back up on the edge of the knife, you know, like that, so you can actually use it, put it where you want. And just keep working it a little bit. I don't like overworking it. I don't know. You know, like, it reminds me a lot of spackle. And spackle's another thing a lot of people hate doing. But you got to develop the skills to do it. If you're going to do it. A lot of it's just, you know, muscle memory and how you work your hands, you know. Now, I want to get it built up there. Pretty much could be even with that door. Once I get that there, I can use the other filler to finish it out, you know, once I get that built up. I think things are starting to set up a little on me. That looks pretty good. And I think I got the major shape of it all. Put some of this here on the inside there, and then I need some here too. Well, that'll be what I do with the Duraglass or Dynaglass. I cannot get that name right. Then after that, I'm going to go with just a lightweight body filler and finish filling it out. And that kind of goofed that up. Another thing about this stuff is you got to know when to quit. There's a time when it's just time to walk away because you're not going to get it any better. You're just making a mess now. Okay. Build that up. Take that off. The nice thing about this is if I do tend to get it on there a little too heavy, I can rough it out with the grinder. And I think we'll call that pretty much good. I don't want to mess with it anymore. I got another spot here, I guess I'll put that there. Oh, that is better. Okay, so I did better there. A little bit divot there, but not terrible. Just trying to smooth it off a little bit. So when I put the next layer on, it'll be a little smoother. Yeah, it's as good as it's gonna get right there. Yep, it just gelled on me. All of a sudden it'll go from workable to not workable. It'll just suddenly get chunky. And that's when you know you're done for sure. I probably kept playing with it if I could have, but it chunked up on me. All in all, I think I got this looking pretty good. Oh, it's still a little wet. I used to always sand between coats. I mean, you know, I put a coat on like this, then I'd sand it. And then I'd put on more, and then I'd sand it. And I was watching Bad Chad, and he said it's a gigantic waste of time, and I think he's right. So I'm just going to put a coat of the lightweight over top of that. I'm going to build it up to the point where I know I can sand it all down level, and that'll be that. It's better than putting it on and taking it off, putting it on, taking it off. I've spent days doing that, and it's like, why? Why am I doing that? So I'm not exactly sure why I was doing it, but I was doing it. I'm just going to schmooze that over. So if I have to do a little schmoozing with my fingers, I'm going to do it. It only takes a day or two to come off, so what the heck. Well guys, I hope you liked that video. Like, share, subscribe. See you on the next one.